I'm dead.
Oh, no.
Oh, what, Cammy?
G'day there, once again viewers, this is your mate Kamikaze78 here, come to you guys with some more HyperScape content. Today guys, I want to go over 25 pointers, tips and tricks for getting into and playing HyperScape. HyperScape is a brand new free-to-play Battle Royale that has just hit the market, and being completely honest, it's some of the most fun that I've had in the Battle Royale space in recent memory. Those of you who have been joining me on my Twitch streams lately, which if you haven't, twitch.tv/Kamikaze78, link in the description down below, you guys will know that the action is intense and relatively addictive, but it also has a ridiculously fast pace to it, and some may find that a touch intimidating. So today I thought I would go over a couple of things that I have learned that help me, and I hope will help you, come across a couple more of those victories in your time playing the game. Let's get into things. Tip number 1, the pre-game lobby you run around in is actually an indicator as to what side of the map you're going to be spawning in from. Use this as an opportunity to scout ahead and start planning your drop location with your teammates. Tip number 2, as you drop into battle, you of course need to consider that drop location. In most other battle royales, a viable strategy is to either drop late or to drop a long distance away from your starting location to avoid early engagements in favour of looting up undisturbed. In this game, that won't work. In a full game, teams drop from each corner of the map, which means that if you aim to drop over a long distance, you're likely to come across a team that has already been on the ground for some time and is already well geared. Just keep that in mind. Tip number 3, in addition to that, you must know which buildings in this urban playground are lootable. Not all buildings are created equal, and therefore they do not all sport interiors, and I see many get stuck on which building they should start their looting with. Buildings that sport these breakable windows or doors and are typically of one solid colour with flat roofing are the buildings that you can loot, with the exceptions here being the landmark buildings and structures on the map that typically are hot drop locations, things like T-Loop or Helios. Tip number 4, when you land, keep an eye and an ear out for nearby players to get a sense of how much time you have for looting. Enemies that touch down will produce this sound, and will also cast a red beam skyward. Use this information from the get-go to figure out how hot your drop is. Tip number 5, for your first few games, try out the different weapons and hacks to see which works best for you and your playstyle. Each have their own playstyles, and the opening of a game is a great opportunity to dip your toes in the water to experiment with what works best for you. We aren't going to have the time to go over every hack and weapon in great detail here in this video, but if you guys want to see specific guides, do let me know in the comment section down below. Tip number 6, now while experimentation is awesome, as you get to the later stages of the game, you're gonna need to settle on a loadout to take with you to the end. Switching items out constantly will ruin your opportunity to upgrade your gear consistently, which will see you not be anywhere near as powerful as the opposition you're going to be facing as the intensity of a match increases. Tip number 7, on the topic of looting and upgrading your gear, if you find a copy of an item you already have equipped, you can fuse them together to create a more powerful or efficient version of that item. Each item starts out as a basic version and then can be upgraded 4 times over. The final upgrades often improve the item more significantly than the ones prior to make you more of a threat in endgame firefights. Alright, so you have some weapons and some gear, you're good to go. Now time to get moving. And with that, you must always stay moving in HyperScape. HyperScape has a longer than average time to kill, which means that engagements are going to play out over longer exchanges. You need to keep moving to throw your opponent's aim off and to avoid being sniped easily. Pretend that there is always someone watching you even when you aren't in a firefight. Tip number 9, as far as your movement abilities are concerned to help you keep moving, you have access to a double jump and a slide. This slide will provide a huge speed boost, and you can maintain the slide longer by holding down the crouch button as opposed to just tapping it. In addition, your double jump will reset if you use an ability midair or touch a surface. Consider these mechanics to maximize your movement as you traverse the urban jungle. Tip number 10, when you are jumping and aiming to vault onto or over a surface, make sure that your crosshair is aimed at the surface you wish to climb. If you don't do this, you might just slam into the wall and end up with a really bad knee graze. Tip number 11, if you come across a deployable hack like walls, mines, magnets, or even a healing field, it can be destroyed with a standard weapon or with damage-orientated hacks. This is particularly useful if a mine is chasing you and, well, you'd rather not get close and personal with said mine. It's also great for disrupting enemy healing fields and for, well, turning an engagement back in your favour. Tip number 12, and this one guys is as simple as it gets. Get a headset or some sort of directional audio setup. This game's audio is set up to provide you with an insane amount of information about what is happening around you. You know, where are your enemies? How many are there? Are they above or below you? What weapons are they using? What sort of material are they walking on? What hacks are they using? By learning the audio in this game and by knowing where it's coming from, you will improve your situational awareness by tenfold. Tip number 13, now this only applies to squad play, but communicate with your teammates for crying out loud. In a game where time to kills are extremely lengthy, the difference in a fight can be down to whether or not your teammates capitalized on an opportunity together. Most teams that are successful from what I've seen travel together and focus fire their targets. This communication will elevate your ability to win games and can be the difference between an enemy getting away from you or being taken out under focused fire. Tip number 14, also relating to squad play, killing a target will tell you how many of that squad has died or disconnected so far, whether or not all the kills on that squad were dealt by you or not. Take note of this because it will tell you if there's another member of that squad roaming around that could potentially look at reviving his allies. Tip number 15, while knocking out a target is a really nice feeling in this game, and it's hella rewarding, overextending to kill a target can quickly turn a fight against you and your squad. Don't become too hellbent on killing a target if it sacrifices a good position or puts you in the crosshairs of a third team unnecessarily. The amount of times that I've died because I got too cocky is pretty insane. Tip number 16, now by this point I'm sure you've noticed the way the game shrinks here is a bit different. The game does not feature a pain-delivering circle that shrinks over time like what most other Battle Royales do. Instead, you have sectors of the urban map that deteriorate over time, and the game will give you a 1-minute countdown to leave an affected area. Once a sector does collapse, as the game puts it, all cover and loot in the area will disappear instantly, as will the restore points, and you will begin to take damage. Do everything you can to avoid being in a collapsed sector because you quite simply have no cover whatsoever and you're just a sitting duck. Tip number 17, the damage that a collapsed sector deals does not intensify based on how far the game has progressed, unlike most other Battle Royales. Here, damage is entirely based on how long you actually spend in the zone itself, no matter how far you are into a game, at least based off of my testing and my experience in game. So once again, try not to get caught out because if you're in there for a long period of time, the damage is just going to get more and more aggressive. Tip number 18, now let's just say that you're on the receiving end of some pretty good coordination and you get knocked out. Don't worry. It's not all over for you. You can be brought back into the fight by using a restore point. Restore points are created by dead enemies, so once your teammates score a kill, stand on the restore point to be brought back into the fray. Tip number 19, with that said, don't just run to the nearest restore point that's 500 meters away and wait for your allies to come and get you. While you're dead, you can still see and hear everything that is going on, allowing you to relay critical information to your teammates about enemy positions and their health. You can even ping targets with the ping system while you're dead, so you're still an asset to the team even if you are completely downed. Tip number 20, if you're restoring an ally, keep in mind that you can still move to avoid making yourself an easy target. Restoring takes a few seconds, which is all a cheeky sniper needs to land a free kill. Tip number 21, most weapons in the game, including the Protocol's sniper rifle, are hit scan weapons. This means that where your crosshair is pointing, the round will hit, no questions asked. Now, I like to make a point of this because I was automatically trying to lead my shots as I would in other shooters. There's no need for that here unless you're using explosive orientated weapons like the Salvo Komodo or the Skybreaker. Tip number 22, always try to have a player in your squad running the heal ability. I cannot understate how important it is to provide that constant buffer of health intake during a fight, especially if you're caught out with a reload at a bad time. At least at that point, all you can do is drop a heal and move as erratically as possible to throw an enemy's aim off while getting a little bit of healing in the process as you're reloading. Tip 22.5, heal is particularly good if you're in a collapsed sector and need a quick top up to run through to get to where you need to be. It saved me on multiple occasions. Tip number 23, you can interrupt a hack ability by switching, firing, or ADSing on a weapon at any time. This applies to Cloak, Ball, Invulnerability, and Slam in particular. I have personally been using Slam as a way to get some height, only to cancel the ability at the peak of the climb to reassess the situation at hand before slamming back down. Tip 24, Invulnerability will run for 8 seconds no matter how much damage you put into the person wearing it. Don't bother wasting ammo or pursuing too aggressively as they may be drawing you into a trap. Tip 25, you can also hear a player still running around if they're cloaked, so use this to your advantage if someone tries to pull the slippery on you. And guys, with all that said, that's going to wrap up today's video discussing 25 pointers, tips, and tricks for getting into and playing HyperScape. This is a game I've been absolutely adoring, and I cannot wait to potentially bring you guys some more content on it if that's what you guys would like to see. I know that many people have found this game intimidating thanks to the speed and the movement and the aggressive nature of it, so I hope that today's tips and tricks were able to help you out in learning the game a bit more. If so, be sure to backhand the like button and leave me some feedback down in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. As always guys, if you enjoyed the video and you're new to the channel, consider backhanding the subscribe button, and if you want to join the memberships of the channel and help support it further, the join button is also there for you guys as well. Once again guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Peace out, and I will see you guys all in the next one. Take care guys, have a good one.